The Kremlin issued a stark warning on Wednesday, stating that Russia would deliver an appropriate response if the United States allows Ukraine to launch long-range ATACMS missile strikes deep inside Russian territory. Kremlin officials suspect that Washington has already made the decision to grant Kyiv access to these weapons, which Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskiy has long sought. During a daily briefing, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov expressed Russia's concerns.
You know, most likely, of course, all these decisions have already been made. This can be assumed with a high degree of probability, and at the moment, such an information campaign is simply being conducted in the media to formalize the decision that has already been made.
The issue of supplying long-range arms to Ukraine has been a point of tension for months. On Tuesday, US President Joe Biden, when asked if his administration would lift the restrictions on such weapons, said his administration was working that out now. Referring to Russia's ongoing military operations in Ukraine, Peskov added that the special military operation was the response to these actions. He framed the West's potential decision as further justification for Russia's continued military efforts.
Each of these decisions, taken by the collective West and then attributed to Ukraine, is an additional confirmation of the justification, necessity, and inevitability of the SMO.
Historically, Washington has been hesitant to provide Ukraine with long-range missiles out of concern that such an escalation could worsen 2.5 years of conflict. However, this time, the Kremlin appears confident that the development is already underway. The Kremlin's remarks coincided with high-profile visits to Kyiv by US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and British Foreign Secretary David Lammy on Wednesday. Both Western diplomats were expected to engage in discussions with Ukrainian officials, where the topic of long-range weapons likely took center stage. For months, Zelenskyy's government has been lobbying for access to long-range weaponry from the US and its allies. As Blinken and Lammy visited, Kyiv was expected to renew its push for the approval of missile strikes on Russian territory, a move that could alter the course of the ongoing conflict. The diplomatic visit also followed a new round of allegations from Washington and London regarding Iranian involvement in the war. On Tuesday, the US and Britain formally accused Iran of supplying Russia with short-range ballistic missiles for use in Ukraine. In response, new sanctions were imposed on both Moscow and Tehran, though Peskov dismissed the accusations as groundless.
We hear a lot of talk about some kind of arms deliveries to the Russian Federation. They all have no basis. We are developing our own relations with a number of countries. We cooperate in a variety of areas, and we will continue this cooperation in the interests of our countries.
As diplomatic and military maneuvering continues, the world watches to see how these developments may further shape the war in Ukraine.